Happy New Week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Premier Planet Podcast. Justin Barlow, Rock and Randy coming at you as always. And Rand, you wanted to start off by reading some WWE news?
Well, I was hoping maybe you start off with, because this is how these kids do it these days. Start out with our revenue streams, and eventually it'll be insert sponsors here, and then we'll get to the news.
You got it. So as you guys know, unfortunately...
That's how these kids do it these days.
Now, with Illinois stay-at-home order being extended another month to the end of May, unfortunately that means we can't reopen the studio anytime soon as we were hoping to do, especially being on the road to PPW 300 like we are, and we're completely stalled on that. But we're not sunk in terms of bringing you guys new content.
We're
doing crowdless tapings every week, bringing you guys the best possible matches we can.
No bullshit. The guys that are working during Corona Mania are working their asses off. These matches are great. It's not hammered shit.
Most definitely. And if you guys want to see what's been going on at these crowdless tapings, the first way to do that would be to join us at PPW On Demand. It's premierprowrestling.pivotshare.com/home, or you can go to premierprowrestling.com and click the On Demand link. It's $4.99 per month, unlimited streaming, and just for signing up, you get your first 2 weeks absolutely free. All of our studio tapings, including our crowdless tapings, are going to be on there, as well as some recent tributes that we've done for Howard Finkel as well as Zebra Kid. You can watch those in their entirety. Then we also have Patreon. Patreon's where you can go for exclusive stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Please do. That's what these kids are using today, is these Patreons.
Damn kids and their Patreons, right, Ren?
Well, they're on to something.
Oh, definitely. The joke is, who is Jenna Marbles? No one knows, but she's worth $8 million.
Exactly. Probably more by now. That joke is getting old.
I
bet you if you check it,
I think so. I think that
2 years ago.
I think that figure is probably from 2 or 3 years ago, so it's probably more by now, especially if she's using Patreon. I don't know if she is, but
unbelievable.
Anyway, Jenna Marbles aside, Patreon's where you guys can go to find exclusive stuff you can't find anywhere else. That includes episodes of this podcast a week before they're made public, and completely ad-free, and it's just $1 a month. It's $1 a month to get 4 or 5 of these podcasts every month, completely ad-free, on time. You could wait till it goes to YouTube, which we'll cover in a minute.
But we do appreciate the YouTube. Just saying, if you got the means, it's the best 99 cents or $1 to $5 you could spend.
Most definitely. You get it ad-free, you get it on time. When it goes to YouTube, it's going to be a week behind, so a lot of the information might be a little out of date. So Patreon for $1 a month gets you the podcast a week early. $3 gets you 2 or 3 exclusive matches from some exclusive tapings when we start doing our not crowdless, we're doing crowdless right now. When we start doing our crowded studio tapings again, we plan to start doing every Friday, or one Friday every month. I can't think straight today for some reason.
Because you've been stir crazy, Justin. You're stir crazy like the rest of us.
It's the COVID, man. It's getting to me.
Oh.
But every month we're going to have one Friday night taping, and those Friday nights are going to go right to Patreon. So if you want to see what happens at those Friday night tapings, if you're not able to attend, $3 a month is going to get you the podcast a week early and 2 or 3 matches from those Friday tapings, and then $5 is going to get you all that and those Friday tapings in their entirety. And we're also throwing up some exclusive matches there for our $3 and $5 patrons during these crowdless tapings that we're doing.
And for people like me, I just want to throw this in there. Throw it in there.
That's the Italian coming out.
For people like me that are a little afraid of technology and changing with the times, the way I've heard it is, and it was broken down to where I could finally understand and wrap my brain around this Patreon concept, is it's like you guys are assistant producers or producers when you patronize us on Patreon. And on that note, we're going to tell you things and say things that you won't hear anywhere else. And we're always going to make it worth your while and meet you more than halfway.
Yeah, for sure. And then YouTube is growing like crazy. We just added another 500 subscribers in, I think, less than 2 weeks.
No, more than that. If you look today, we're up at 36,600.
It's 600 now? Oh, my God.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless.
So thank you to our global audience. That's right, I said global audience on YouTube. Name another quote-unquote indie company in the area that's got that kind of reach.
All right, well, let me say this since you went there, girlfriend. Can you snap to a time? Girlfriend. Anyway, yes, that's always been our intent. Our intent, and that's why we have a studio set up. This is back from when I was the production manager for Total Nonstop Action Impact Wrestling. I ran the studio at Universal. We set up so we could be like a studio, and that's been our targeted audience. Of course, we need and appreciate and love our live attendance, but we've always tried to play toward a bigger stage. And the other indie companies, they don't really think that way.
No, it's all about the live shows with them, and they don't think big picture. We're thinking big picture here.
Yeah, we're thinking 10 years in advance, you know.
Mm-hmm. Now we're not so arrogant to think that we're going to be able to compete with Vince McMahon and WWE at any point.
Nobody can. Nobody can compete with Vince McMahon.
But we know that if we put our heads together, if we're persistent about it, we can have a really good social media reach, especially on YouTube, where we're closing in on 40,000 subscribers and close to 2 million. What is it? It was
I don't know.
12 million views. Yeah, we're closing in on
like
it's 15.
Way over that. It's way over that.
Millions and millions and millions of views on YouTube. We'll get the statistics later.
Now, of course, I'm not saying because nobody can compete with WWE. What I'm saying is our goal is to provide a viable wrestling option.
Mm-hmm. And I think we said last week it's Premier Pro Wrestling, not Premier Indie Wrestling.
Yes. You guys will see that if you watch even just a bit of our content, you know, and in any of the ways, shapes, or forms that Justin just told you. You want to hit them up with, follow us on Insta.
Yeah, hit us up on Insta, folks.
Hit us up on Insta, sorry.
Hey,
is that what you kids are saying these days?
That's what you say all the time. I'm surprised you forgot.
I heard it from a kid, so that's where I got it from.
Our Instagram is red hot right now. You can get photos on there.
I'm telling you, it's flaring like a pack of hemorrhoids over there.
And we are constantly in discussion about what kind of new content we can bring you guys on all of our streaming platforms.
We're working on a vlog. Thank you, David Dobrik, because we're as funny as that kid. You just guys, we got to put it out there for you guys to see it.
Premier Pro Wrestling is working on creating some sort of vlog right now to give you guys something, you know, not just pro wrestling related to watch, but something that's just straightforward, entertaining to watch.
You know why? Because we're good like that. We're silly. It's fun, funkier, fresher.
Mm-hmm. Like one big dysfunctional but happy family.
Like a little wiener package. And then Pro Wrestling Tees.
The only place to go for Premier Pro Wrestling merchandise, official Premier Pro Wrestling merchandise. I don't know, there could be somebody out in Singapore right now screen printing and ripping off our designs for all we know. Official Premier Pro Wrestling merchandise is available at ProWrestlingTees.com. You can find the link at PremierProWrestling.com or just go to ProWrestlingTees.com and search for Premier Pro Wrestling. We've got new designs coming out all the time. We got one for just about everybody on the roster at this point. Some guys, like Matt Vine, have 3 or 4 designs out there to choose from.
So, and we got the MAGA shirt. Make American Wrestling Great Again.
It is an election year, folks. It's not MAGA, it's MAGA. Make American Wrestling Great Again.
And it's a shoot.
Mm-hmm. And what else do we have on there? Oh, my personal favorite. We kick ass till we smell shit. Yeah, that's a real t-shirt that's on ProWrestlingTees.com right now. And didn't we just release a Corona Mania shirt?
Yes, you should know. You designed it, but I don't think you've talked to the designers about it. But yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. If it's not there now, it's soon to be coming. Now, we're not trying to be insensitive toward coronavirus with this shirt, but we have nicknamed our crowdless tapings as Corona Mania 2020.
We're making light of it.
Exactly. And you know what? There's going to be so many people coming out of the woodwork saying, like, you guys are making fun of this and blah, blah, blah. The single best way to take power away from anything negative is to laugh about it. I mean, look at Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks has spent his entire career getting people to laugh at Adolf Hitler, something people always said was nothing to laugh about.
To make light of it, exactly. And we need laughter. I need laughter. Otherwise, I'm going to take the path of a serial killer.
And so we're not laughing at the victims by any stretch. What we're doing is we're trying to take some power and some fear out of this thing, because everybody's drowning in fear right now because of this COVID. So Corona Mania 2020 shirts, if it's not on ProWrestlingTees.com yet, it will be very, very shortly. And I think that just about covers it. We talked about YouTube, we talked about Patreon, we talked about Pro Wrestling Tees, we talked about Pivot Share.
All right, let's get down to business. Now I'm just going to my Google feed and pulling up the latest WWE news. I don't know how this is written yet. Sometimes, most of the time, they try to make WWE and Vince McMahon look like the ultimate heel or villain, you know. So, news on how WWE talent are paid. Before we get into this and see where the spin lies, I would like to point out that WWE talent are lucky to be being paid as anybody else is lucky to being paid right now during this nation's current pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, WWE reported strong quarterly earnings for the first quarter of 2020. First quarter of 2020. Would that be strong earnings then without WrestleMania? No.
First quarter of 2020, it depends on when their fiscal year starts. Most fiscal years actually start the summer before, so if it was the first quarter, it would be like July through November or something like that.
Okay. So the company also noted how they're taking necessary precautions to protect their superstars and staff from the dangers associated with coronavirus. On a recent edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, David Meltzer explained that although WWE signed multiple deals for new talent in preparation for 2020, they have kept their payroll spending on the low and because of the lack of live arena shows the company is putting on. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I says, I mean, they're lucky to be being paid right now with no revenue streams coming in, you know?
No. Yeah, definitely. Especially being on salary and getting and just getting recurring payments.
Now, it's not salary as far as talent goes. What that is a guarantee. Holy crap, we're watching Miguel Perez versus Cyclope, an old match from WCW. Son of a bitch, was Miguel Perez good. Okay. Talent in WWE typically get paid a designated amount each quarter based off the number of live arena shows. Yes, they do. That they participate in. I remember Casey James telling me they went to the Philippines for the weekend. Now, these are house shows, okay? They drew so well, he was mid-card. It was him and Idol Stevens, Damian Sandow against Spanky and Paul London for the 2 nights. His paycheck for the 2 nights on top of his salary, $11,000.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's nice, huh?
Well, it's like, go back to 93 and Matt Bourne when he was wrestling as Doink the Clown.
Yes,
I think you told me this.
First pay-per-view check was $7,500, and that was just like a debut pay-per-view. So those pay-per-view checks were even bigger. So that being said, Vince McMahon's so mean. At the end of the day, how mean is that? Go ahead and be mean to me if you pay me $7,500 for a pay-per-view or for 1 match, or $11,000 for 2. You know. But anyway. However, when a situation occurs like the current ongoing coronavirus, the talent is limited to only performing on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT if they're booked. Again, he's got so many people to choose from, you know. It was noted at Figure4WrestlingOnline.com that when talent sign with the company, they can choose to be paid bi-weekly based on the downside guarantee, or bi-weekly on what they would normally draw between the live event, pay, merchandise, and royalties. Again, merchandise and royalties, unbelievable. The royalties are what we're just talking about, and also the pay-per-view. But the merchandise, man, I mean, WWE Shop has been blowing up for, 20 years now?
Something like that, ever since they launched the website, which would have been probably more than 20 years ago.
Unbelievable, huh? If that number doesn't reach their downside guarantee, WWE will write a check to pay them the difference. That doesn't sound like a heel to me. How about you?
No. But, you know, the thing is, and I I'm still such a newbie when it comes to this business. 7 years and I've still only barely scratched the surface of what there is to know. But if there's one thing that I can say based on observation, it's that Vince McMahon is a businessman.
Yes, he is.
He's always going to do, and I know it's cliche to say because they made a whole storyline around the saying, ran with it for like 2 or 3 years, but it will always be about what's best for business.
Exactly. And when your talent roster is all independently contracted, you're in a strategic partnership, whether you can comprehend that or not. So they're partners,
Yeah, and sometimes what's best for business is unfortunately cutting some people loose, but sometimes what's best for business is also paying people maybe even a little more than they're worth.
Vince has always, always, always cleaned house after WrestleMania. It just got different over the last decade, so people, especially fans in the internet wrestling community, are not used to it. During the aforementioned earnings report, Vince mentioned how being nimble, creative, and efficient will be the tools to ensure long-term success in WWE moving forward. Yes, the optimization. See, and he's spelling it out to everybody again in that paragraph that we're all strategic partners. You're also strategic partners with your revenue streams, like your networks, your web hosts. You know what I'm saying? Our first quarter financial performance was strong and largely unimpacted. Oh, shit. Unimpacted. This is a strong statement. Let me read that again because it's a strong statement. And that's the first question I asked you. Our first quarter financial performance was strong and largely unimpacted by the COVID-19 outbreak, said WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon. Unimpacted. Huh. Now I'm interested. Now, this is a statement still. We are in the midst of unprecedented times which require us to be especially nimble, creative, and efficient, optimizing again, in order to ensure the long-term value of WWE. We just read that earlier, but okay. We are taking precautions to protect the health and safety of the performers. We saw that already. As we produce content in new ways, engage fans with a much-needed diversion, and operate effectively in this evolving environment. Well, you know what, folks, I just fell for something that you guys probably fall for all the time, and that's what we're not going to do directly, is clickbait. They blew smoke up our ass. There's no news in that. It's like the former Drudge model. You ever heard of the Drudge Report?
No. Oh, wait, no, the Drudge Report, yeah.
Matt Drudge. I think he's a punk now, but he was a innovator in his day. He became like the first news aggregator. He would put news out there. The difference between Drudge and these assholes, I can swear, these assholes is Drudge didn't claim it to be his. He would take the direct news and then put his comment on the top, clearly saying, this isn't from me. This is my thoughts on the bullshit. But we just got fucked and sucked into clickbait, which is another reason why I don't follow too many things with the wrestling world, because it's all bullshit.
No, it's so hard to find accurate information because you've got so many people out there, and this includes Meltzer, and it's going to come out. I got no love for Dave Meltzer.
Especially,
But these are guys who have watched for, 15, 20 years, and because they read dirt sheets, because they read message boards, they think they have the inside scoop on what's really going on. When I first started with Premier Pro Wrestling, I had been watching wrestling for 20 years at that point, 1993 to 2013. I thought I knew everything too, and I learned very quickly I didn't know jack shit until I got behind the curtain. And I said before, 7 years in, I've still only barely scratched the surface of what there is to know.
Well, you keep saying that, and I forgive me for mentioning this. In the meanwhile, now I've been around this industry forever, and people could say, "Oh, who is he? Who is he? I never saw him." Blah blah blah. But I've been everywhere and done everything. I also made it my business to spend 30 plus years in the industry, traveling the country and parts of the world, to study. Because I've been clean and sober the whole time. So the point I'm trying to make is that there's always something to learn. You can always learn, and the minute you stop learning and you think you know every goddamn thing, you're in trouble and you're a slave to the ego and you're a mark for yourself. And being a mark for yourself hasn't worked since the early 90s, i.e. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. You know what I'm saying? Look where being a mark for yourself has gotten Vince Russo.
Oh, jeez.
Now,
you just say that name, I cringe.
Yeah, I know. But the mighty fell pretty hard there, and with the things that guy's done and the blood on his hands, he deserves to be where he's at. I'm not wishing ill will on anybody or lack of success, but the point is that I've been there and I'm currently there. Some people deserve it.
Yeah.
Some people deserve to reap what they sow.
Yeah, and it's just the whole thing with the dirt sheets and the message boards. My problem with it is that it's launched an entire generation of people who think that just because they've watched wrestling for so many years and they read these dirt sheets, they read these message boards, they think it's coming from a credible source, so they in turn think that they know exactly what's going on. And it was Socrates, and I know this because of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Great movie if you haven't seen it.
Before you said that, I was going to say Socrates.
Yes, Socrates. You know what's funny is when I was in college, before I dropped out, I took a philosophy course, and it was a Monday morning, and Bill and Ted had been on TV that weekend. So it was my very first class of the day, and we were studying Socrates, and without knowing it until my professor pointed it out, I had been saying Socrates the whole time.
That's awesome.
It is.
It became habit. So back to what I was saying. When I stopped going to this, I think the originators were, Observer and
Torch, I think.
The Torch. They used to put it out in writing on a weekly basis, and that was and they were interesting reads. You know what I mean? And I was surprised how many people they had all over the place that were gathering match results. You know, that's what people really wanted to see, was the match results in the areas they couldn't see without the internet. You know what I mean? But I think your originators of the internet wrestling community, the websites were Woo Wrestling and then One Wrestling. But I think that ever since they closed down Woo and sold One Wrestling, it's just been downhill from there as far as accurate and, quick news that you could claim as real news, Aggregation, again, if these guys aggregate, that's cool, but it seems to me like they're taking some sort of ownership by saying, we're reporting the same thing that our friends over at Figure 4, whatever the fuck, are reporting. You know what I mean? And I bet you go to Figure 4 and they say, our friends at the Reservoir and Meltzer's radio show, Ugh. So what can we do different? What can we do different? You know what I'm saying? We can kind of explain it to you and maybe point out the commonsensical about it. The problem I have with World Wrestling Entertainment, okay, isn't and never has been, as somebody that's perused the contracts. Don't forget, I've gotten a lot of guys hired by World Wrestling Entertainment. I got Jay Bradley hired, who was there for 2 to 4 years. I got Casey James hired, who was there for 7 years. The contracts are awesome. There's everything in them where they spell out these royalties. To this day, they still have a percentage of what you get for books. If you were to write a book, or the books make a comeback, or audio books, maybe that's what they'll be attacking. I don't know. But the royalties are unbelievable. He's very fair, Vince. Very fair. And again, don't forget, it was Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, and Perry Saturn who fucked up his big push and his opportunity, that were approached by Vince with a downside $125,000 guarantee versus a $400,000 guarantee at WCW, where the guys would have been trapped at mid-card or under. Mid-card at best, okay? He said, I'll give you $125,000 as your guarantee, but look at this. If you get over, I will give you the chance to get over. Those guys took the ball and ran with it, and the rest is history. I'll guarantee they probably made over $500,000 a year, each one of those guys, except for Perry Saturn, who's came in with issues, and his issues got the better of him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about. My problem is the fact that I forget what you call it on the legal front, but you aren't old enough to remember this. Some of our listeners aren't. AT&T used to be Ma Bell, Illinois Bell, or Bell Telephone. Then they would tag their state to the name of it. Missouri Bell, Illinois Bell, okay? They were the only phone company. So back in the 90s, they really started to rape everybody because they could. And then the government stepped in and broke them up, I think there's something going on with the power companies like that, but it's still a choice. It's not a mandation where you have to open it up to other people. That's the only problem I have is World Wrestling Entertainment is the only place in the country to make a real living at pro wrestling in the United States of America. Unless, you're one of those favorite sons or besties or flavors of the week of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, but I mean, how much longer is that going to go on? We touched on that a few episodes ago. I mean, they're already starting to kind of take a slide over there.
Yeah, I even saw Dustin post something this week on Twitter about the frustration of not being able to hold live events and his frustration with the rules, the mandates, and the government shutdowns. You know what I mean? I wouldn't sell that if I was them. The other problem I have with them is they're calling their program or their content now, which is on TNT, AEW Dark. Do you know what a dark match is, Justin?
I know what a dark match is.
It's
a match that takes place either before or after an actual television taping that's not televised.
Partially you're true. Partially you're true. What a dark match is just means it's not being fucking taped. It's a match that occurs at a live broadcast or a TV taping that isn't televised, i.e. dark. They kept Owen Hart for 2 to 4 years in between ideas for him because he was such a good worker. Owen he worked the house shows. He would typically work with guys that needed to be carried or taught something, learn something from Owen. You know what I mean? Because Owen was a great worker. Owen spent years sitting in the gorilla position. And when they had to do a tape change, if they had a technical difficulty, they would say, Owen, take this jamoke, whoever it was, right there, go out there and go until we tell the referee it's time for you to go home. A dark match merely means non-televised. So, if AEW Dark is supposed to be that, they don't even understand. If you don't understand what the term means, it's a damn shame, in my opinion, to have all that money behind you and shows how uneducated you probably are when it comes to your own industry.
I think they were just looking for a catchy name, and they settled on that without actually thinking about it. And I mean, I'm glad.
Well, if I'm getting paid and invested in and believed in, Justin, I'm thinking about everything. I would say, how many times you see me say, no, we can't do that because it sounds too much like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's look at a name for something. What's the current thing that we came up with, the current concept match with the point system?
Olympiad freestyle match. One of those is on Patreon right now, and I think the other one's on Pivot Share. So go check those out. They are amazing.
No, I'm not kidding you. What happens is we come up with that, we implement that, and it's friggin' compelling. I hate that point stuff. I think that, for example, Norman Smiley, he got paid decent money. What a great worker. I mean, you guys, none of us will ever see all the stuff Norman Smiley did before he was Screaming Norman, which drew money, but in Mexico and over there, and they were doing like a pancreas-type wrestling there, and Norman can do that. Norman is the sweetest guy in the world, but he could tie you in knots. You know what I'm saying? He's a tough guy. Sweetest guy in the world, But the point I'm trying to make is it's boring. It never got over, So we started talking about this because we're trying to be competition-based. And what's the name of it again?
Olympiad freestyle match.
See, that's why I'll text it to you at weird times, man. I think I actually messaged that to you so I didn't forget when I was showering and shaving. You know what I mean? Because I got to do it now before it escapes me. I did the verbiage. I spent the day off and on Googling words to try to make a catchy term that we could sell that thing. You know what I mean? And something that jumps out that says, hey, let's go ahead and give this a try, and then we can show you guys the way that we've done it with the compelling point system, which is actually fucking entertaining. So that being said, if I would do that, and I'm sitting there in my underpants and I'm Cody Reynolds, I'm doing the footwork and finding out the words that make sense and what the actual terms mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like they just pulled that word out of the air because it sounded catchy.
They don't have any infrastructure. That's the problem. I wouldn't be bragging about who I signed until I started bragging about who was in my infrastructure. Arn Anderson coming in was an afterthought. You know what I mean? Dustin coming in to work behind the scenes was an afterthought. That's where you start. And then you build and say, hey, we just signed this guy. Hey, you know this guy from Japan, we signed him. Hey, guess who else? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then people take you serious instead of this flash in the pan. You know? Mm-hmm. I wish them success. I would love to have someplace else or a viable alternative. But until they change the way they're doing things, and obviously they haven't, and I'm sure this is not available. This is something I'd like to see the Observer or Figure 4 Wrestling find out. How much money has been burned versus how much money has come back to Tony Khan or Sal Khan?
Tony Khan.
How much money has come back to Tony Khan, and where does it come from? Don't forget, we were all in, and we sold out the Sears Center. Or sold out the Sears Center, right?
I think they sold it out.
Last time they were here, maybe 18 months, probably less than 18 months later, they were running the same building in Chicago that everybody runs. I can't remember the name of the damn building or the neighborhood that it's in. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Well, it wouldn't have been the United Center or the All-Star.
No, it was this little tiny building that Indies run.
Is it the Aragon Ballroom?
No, it's not.
Logan Square?
Logan Square, thank you. They ran a television at Logan Square. They couldn't fill that. You know? So if you looked at Logan Square, you know how many Logan Squares you could probably fit in what's the name? Sears Center? Sears Center, right? Is that where they ran?
That's the one in Hoffman. That's where they ran.
So do you see what I'm saying? And even you guys, even the kids I'm training, didn't know they were coming to town. So look at the momentum lost already, and they sold out that building and still lost money in the first place? You know what I'm saying? And then self-admittedly and nyuk, and laugh it off? That ain't got legs. Now let's go back to Vince McMahon, who's optimizing, and he had to let go of a lot of people, but those people haven't been really making him any money for a long time. You know?
And that's what you have to look at. I mean, I'm sad to see guys like Gallows and Anderson go because they were entertaining to watch, especially
they were entertaining, but did they get over?
Yeah, the most over I think they were is when they were with AJ Styles reenacting the Bullet Club.
Well, then but what happened there? Did it probably had a merchandise run, because Vince saw the Bullet Club T-shirts everywhere, or those within WWE saw the Bullet Club T-shirts everywhere. They probably branded in something like that, and the T-shirt run wasn't what they expected. So
yeah, when they were on their own, I mean, they were mid card. They were almost a jobber tag team, and I mean, entertaining as hell to watch those two. But you have, at the end of the day, it's a business, and you have to look at what's getting you results.
Exactly. So Vince McMahon, we just read the clickbait post. He's still got people that he's paying his guarantees. They're just not getting their percentages of the house shows. That's the other thing Vince does too. Even on a house show, you make this much until mid card. If you're mid card or above, you make even more. So see what I'm saying? There's a lot of opportunity there. Again, what I don't like, and in part it's our fault, it's nobody else's fault. That's what it's going to take now that I'm speaking out loud. Whose fault is it that there's no competition to WWE? You know what I'm saying? The telephone company, when Ma Bell broke up and then became AT&T or Ameritech or whatever the hell they keep switching on, there was competition, and that competition went to court and took him to court and made him break up. The conglomerate! That's what I'm talking about. WWE is a conglomerate. It's like the NFL having one sports team. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or let's say 2 or 3 sports teams. Let's call NXT its own sports team. It's like AAA hockey, AAA ball. Let's call SmackDown a sports team. Does he treat it like a redheaded stepchild still, SmackDown?
I don't know. Truthfully, I haven't watched I went back to work a couple of weeks ago after being on disability, so I haven't watched SmackDown in a couple of weeks. So I don't know how the quality's been over the last month.
I got you. And then you got Raw. Raw has always been the number one watch program.
It's always been Vince's baby because that's what pretty much started the whole TV explosion.
So my point is, and I'm confusing myself, I hope you're following, and if you're following, that means the people listening are following. The reason why Vince can stay that conglomerate and have the market cornered is because nobody viable has stepped up and said, okay, we should have the right to compete in the same arena. You know what I mean? You have to understand, folks, I was there when the XFL went through its $3 million in less than a year. My very good friend killed himself because he took a chance on them, Mike Lima, who moved from Hoffman Estates to go in Florida and to follow that thing. And even though they did their 3 events and their 3 events drew, the ends didn't justify the means. And the investor told him, no, we're closing down. I told you and read your contract, I would give you $3 million investment to turn a profit. You burn through the $3 million, it's over. You know? Then I worked at TNA Wrestling, and I came into TNA Wrestling hired as this, then given the old Tennessee 2-step on that, and I saw the money they were burning through. You know, if you do the math and all that stuff. So, sorry, but AEW is probably total nonstop action light. They're burning through a lot of money, and they're blowing an opportunity to wisely get into the arena with Vince McMahon. You're not going to be able to hire people from other companies anymore, anywhere, even Japan, because look at that kid Kenny Omega. That's a good hand. That's a good fucking hand. Does he mean any fucking thing at AEW right now? Because I don't hear shit.
I'm sure he does, but it's hard. It's hard to keep up.
I heard the name a lot more when he was working in Japan, where he was working under structure.
He was huge in Japan. As big as he is in the U.S., he will never be as big over here as he was over there, and I can pretty much put money on that.
That's okay. Good. That's well put. Everybody knows that, and nobody can really say I'm full of shit. So that being said, a company that knows how to develop its own talent and make its own stars and make its own brand. That is legitimate competition. The rest of it is just buzzwords. And check this out. It all goes back to AEW, blah, 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 like what we just fell for, is clickbait. Does that make sense?
It's an inverted pyramid. You look... What AEW is doing, and I saw this right from the start, is they're doing what Bischoff was doing with WCW in the 90s.
I was there too. Honest to God, Bischoff was a struggling actor. Okay, he was looking to put himself in the map. I don't think he was a wrestling fan, but an opportunity fell into his lap as Vern was at the end only making money off ESPN as only real revenue stream. Had stopped running house shows just because they couldn't draw. He came in, he would work for nothing as a commentator or whatever. He would get himself on TV, and that was very valuable to an actor, a young guy. You know what I mean? Didn't have a creative fucking bone in his body. His first idea was, well, since we can't draw any people, let's go ahead and have a crowdless taping at the old studio in Minneapolis, and crowdless would have been better. What they had was 3 or 4 security guards, these poor assholes, standing on all 4 sides of the ring and trying to sell it to the people. Like, the reason we don't have a crowd isn't because we couldn't sell tickets. These matches are being held in secret. You know, it was horrifying.
Yeah, so it's that inverted pyramid. I mean, you start with instead of starting at your foundation, like you said,
upside down pyramid?
like you said. You got to build your foundation on that
inverted nipple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. You got to start with your infrastructure. That's the most important thing, like you said, and then gradually build.
Yeah.
But what they've done is the same thing that Bischoff did with WCW. He scooped up all the big names that he could to draw eyes to WCW television so that he could convince Turner to go to Monday nights and compete with Vince, which worked for, 2 or 3 years.
But no, it did not work. It did work and produce high ratings, bringing in Dennis Rodman, bringing in Al Green, bringing in Jay Leno. When you spend that kind of money, the ends didn't justify the means. When WCW officially closed down, Justin, Nitro was still getting a 2.3 television rating.
Mm-hmm. But they were, as you like to say, stepping over dollars to pick up dimes.
And chasing dog farts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that one.
But it's the truth. Try to catch a dog fart. You know what I mean?
I don't even want to smell a dog fart.
Unbelievable. So, let's go ahead and take that back into how this pertains to us. we've got to watch what's going on around us. The truth is that I've got a decent relationship with World Wrestling Entertainment, which is good. I don't say anything here that I wouldn't say to them. I'm being real about it. You know what I mean? And now I actually feel better talking, because hearing myself talk, I'm not as angry anymore about that conglomerate shit, because it's really nobody else's fault. If nobody has built anything up viable, or even appears to be viable, then they can't afford to go to court on the issue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm not upset about that anymore, because it's on us, me included.
Yeah, but we got to keep striving to be that alternative, and
we are. You know, everybody's talking about the anti-WWE. That's AEW's big thing. Are they still pimping it? Anti-WWE? Probably.
I don't know. To be honest, I gave up on watching their television halfway through the first episode. I know that Cody's taken some on-air jabs, or at least suggestions towards Hunter and all the executives at WWE.
Now, I don't care if it's 30 seconds. Do you know how, when you're getting paid for a television product, how expensive the value of 30 seconds on your television program, that's 30 seconds that you could be spending to brand or rebrand talent. Your own talent.
And imagine what 30 seconds of national television cost you in this country. What did Savio say? It was Telemundo, I think, wanted $2,500 an hour to do IWA Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Now, in Puerto Rico.
Cut that in half. That's what? It's 1750. Am I doing the math right on that?
Yeah, 1250.
If that's what a half hour would cost on Telemundo to broadcast in Puerto Rico, a tiny little island, imagine what a half hour on TNT must cost.
Just to play games. It's counterproductive. And if you're not focused on your product, you're going to get what you put into it, just like life at the end of the day. Now, we develop our guys, most of them, from the minute they step into a ring. You know, we take a lot of World Wrestling Entertainment's business model, because World Wrestling Entertainment has spent a shitload of money figuring out muscle memory, workouts, core, what works what. So their drills are unbelievable. You know, at first I says, what the fuck's with all these fucking drills? Now I get it, because you know why I get it? Our guys don't get hurt. They do a lot of big stuff. You got your Inestras, Anakin, Sensei, Poncho, just for example, Vine. I mean, these guys, they don't get hurt because their bodies are in shape enough from these drills and from working every week and sometimes twice a week. See what I'm saying? So that's where it starts. The minute they walk in, and you got to teach them no drama. You know, World Wrestling Entertainment, direct quote, not many people at a certain age are worth the squeeze. The juice is not worth the squeeze. So if they become a pain in the ass, I don't want to deal with them. WWE said, tell this person that we were looking at that forget it. If he can't listen to you, he'll never listen to us. We have no use for him, and he'll never work here. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Those are basic business principles. That's where it starts. And in the meantime, you got to keep looking for that it. You got to look for heart. You have to look for integrity, because you cannot be an asshole in today's industry and have any staying power. If you like John Cena or not an asshole. Good fucking guy. Everybody knows that. Find some dirt on him. I don't know. There's some wackiness with some wife stuff, but we don't know who was fucking separated and when. You know what I mean? There's a thing called open relationships. I don't know if he was or wasn't. Maybe that was good with both of them. But nobody, and he doesn't have to do it, puts that kind of time into fucking children's charities, man.
To this day, I think he's still the most requested celebrity for Make-A-Wish, a professional wrestler.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. My heart would break.
And as far as I know, I mean, it's probably different now with the whole COVID thing. I don't know if they're running right now, but to the best of my knowledge, he still has never missed a single one.
Unfucking believable. And look at the guy's schedule, because he's on everything. I think he's in TV series, movies. Then you got Steve Austin. You know, I've known Steve since he broke in. He had 6 months in the industry when I met him working in World Class in Dallas. Another good fucking guy. There's no pile of bodies or skeletons in Steve Austin's closet. People like Steve, and they've liked him from the beginning because of the way he carries himself. You know what I'm saying? Rocky Johnson. I was there when Rocky Johnson, brought Dwayne The Rock Johnson to meet Vince. Rock came in dressed like everybody else, ready to do extra work. If it meant being a police officer, a paramedic, or doing a job for whoever was on the roster at the time. He came in like that, humble, and he stayed humble. Proof is in the pudding because these guys first mastered the politics of wrestling. Again, politics of WWE, which has cornered the market. Now they've moved on to Hollywood and are making even more money, i.e. Big Show. Another one.
And that's, I think people hear that word asshole and they think it's all-encompassing. But when it comes, there's a difference between an asshole
all-encompassing and you all-encompassing
you all-encompassing asshole.
That's a
it sounds like an insult, I know.
No, I'm going to use it. You all-encompassing asshole! I love it.
And it could be used as an insult, but again,
I'm going to coin that from you. We should put that on a fucking t-shirt.
All-encompassing asshole. If Art and Dave, if you guys are listening to this, start writing up a design.
Polish power, motherfuckers.
Anyway, but there's a difference because a lot of the guys who made it to the top, yeah, they stood their ground, they pushed for a lot of stuff, but there's a difference between doing that and playing the politics of it and doing that just because they think they deserve to get pushed and they're going to be a crybaby if they don't. I mean, take a look at Foley when he first came in.
Yes.
He's
not a good person.
From what I understand, Vince didn't want to hire him because he hated the look. He didn't get Cactus Jack.
No. Okay, this is the honest to God's truth. I think it was my third match was against Mick Foley. It was St. Rita's high school gym in Chicago.
Was he Jack Foley then still?
No, he was Cactus Jack.
He was Jack.
There was no Foley involved. It was Cactus Jack. And I bullshitted my way. No, someone bullshitted me onto the card and said that I had 50 matches. Well, this is my third. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But Al Dwyer and I forget the other guy's name, first name Mark, they were bringing in world-class guys who people in Chicago knew because the television came up here. It was one of the first syndicated markets they were in outside of Dallas. And it drew a very good crowd. But I was shitting bricks because I was third match, 20 minutes with Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. You know what I mean? But anyway, I don't know what the fuck I did or didn't do, but the guy loves me. And I love him too.
Probably did your job. I mean, you probably both did your job, and that's why.
Yeah, he fucking bumped for me and shit. I mean, he worked with me, and I learned a lot in that match, Mm-hmm. Then they asked me to put him over when he first came to Vince, and he was working on and accepting the Mankind gimmick. And I don't know what the fuck we did in that match either, but everybody was gay for it, and it really helped Mick. And Mick was the first one to come over and thank me for getting him over and selling I was selling the mandible claw proper. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I saw that match.
And they put us on the fucking trading card that year. It was funny because Mick sent me a bunch of them signed and stuff.
Nice.
So I could sell them or do whatever I wanted with them. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Then one time between WCW and WWF, it might have been WWF at the time. I think it was. I was working in World Class, and Mick came down just to hang out with friends for a week, and he was at a taping or two, and, it was great again. So, you know what Mick did for me one time?
Tell me.
What was the hurricane where Louisiana got fucked up?
Katrina.
Okay, so during Katrina, right after Katrina, but during the major fallout, man, I mean, people were living in the Astrodome and shit, trying to be placed by FEMA and whatever. And I'm not going to go into the politics of that. But anyway, the cable company from Hidalgo, Texas, used to do an event every year called the South Texas Scorcher. And I called Mick. They found me online and asked me if I could bring somebody in that would mean something and draw a crowd. Okay? I says, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I could probably get Mick Foley, who, I think he was still with WWE, or I think he was still with WWE, and it was after, he went a lot. Let's just say that. Mick Foley was a fucking household
Do you remember
name.
what year it was?
I don't remember shit, bro. I'm sorry. Whenever Katrina
Oh,
right,
we're
was.
talking about Katrina. So that would have been 05, so I think he had just left.
Or he was in between, because he never just leaves.
Well, no.
No,
but I know he, it was about a year after he quote-unquote left, because he had his match with He had his match at WrestleMania 20 in 04, and then the next month he had his match against Orton, and that was kind of his curtain call.
So this is an example, a perfect living, breathing, motherfucking example of how you've got to be in wrestling. Mick Foley is a cheap guy. I used to talk to Mick in his first title run. He just won the fucking title, the WWE title for the first time, okay? And I called him about something, and he called me about something, and he said, guess what? Guess what I just found at a garage sale? I found the original 70s version of a Light Bright with all the pieces for $30. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, the only millionaire I know or ever heard of that goes garage sailing. You know what I mean? That's Mick Foley. So, cheap as he is, that being said, they were late reaching me because the cable company, Time Warner, it was Time Warner then out of Hidalgo, Texas. They were late getting to me because whoever they had originally had pulled out or the plans fell apart, right? I reach out to Foley last fucking minute, okay? And he's supposed to get paid. Now that being said, they don't just pay you, they don't just pay you. You have to put in the fucking, what do you got to do when you put in a request for money? I forget what they call it.
Money order?
No, like, okay, we have to pay, accounts payable, you had to make a submission. I forget what the fucking term is. I haven't been in corporate.
Is it petty cash?
No, but close.
I've never worked in the corporate world, so
you got to put in the request, then the request has to be approved, then the money is cut. Even though your deal is done, that's what you have to do to get paid from a big corporation. I say, Mick, I know you agreed to doing this thing, but I don't got their fucking money yet because they're late. He goes, I don't care, man. I'll be there, okay? Foley, who I just told you is the cheapest man on the planet, and good, because he saved all his money. I'm not saying it's a burn. I'm saying that's his fucking charm. Ask anybody that knows him. It's his fucking charm. Even his old lady loves him. She thinks it's fucking cute, and it is. He's a cute, big, tough, stinky fucker. You know what I mean? A big, semi-stinky, rough, tough, toothless teddy fucking bear. Okay, what I mean? You know what I mean? So, he comes in, he does the fucking appearance, and then he goes to the Astrodome, doesn't call the fucking media, Justin, just to perk up the fucking people's bullshit, and he makes a donation in the amount that I was paying him for that fucking thing, and then waited another week to go home and get paid.
Oh, God.
Till the money came.
God bless him.
I mean, who does that? And it goes against his nature. He's out on a limb. All right, he's out on a limb for $7,000 at the time. He's out of pocket $7,000. A guy who prides himself on finding a Light Bright with all the pieces for $30. That's the kind of person that you have to be to have longevity in any industry, but especially fucking ours. Mm-hmm. That's Mick fucking Foley.
Yeah, and I know based on what he has said in various interviews on the network, he has said when he first came in, I guess it was JR who pushed Vince to finally hire Foley, because the story is Vince didn't want to hire him. He didn't get the Cash as Jack gimmick, and he hated the way he looked because, yes. Let's face it, Mick Foley, especially back then, was...
And bless his heart, his wife was, she's really into fitness. She's an instructor. She might have even been a fitness model, Colette. And Mick hates the fucking gym. It's no secret. And that's another part of his charm. He's pear-shaped.
Yeah. But when they first brought him in, first Vince said, I'm going to put him under a mask to hide his face. And they came up with what was the blueprint for the Mankind gimmick, but they were going to call it, according to Foley, Mason the Mutilator. And he knew right then, he said to himself, if I go out there as Mason the Mutilator, I am dead in the water.
It's going to be like that one guy. What was it? The big fat kid that came out dressed
Mantar.
Oh, see?
There's a great episode of Photo Shoot on the network with Jim Cornette where he has a really good laugh about Mantar. It's entertaining.
I'm glad he can laugh about it because that shit was all Jim. Now, perfect example again. Nice guy, comes in, can do some special things. Did not foot the fucking bill. Okay? Did not foot the bill. Do you think that JR would have pushed Vince so hard to look at that guy if he was a jagoff?
No. Oh, hell no.
Fuck to the no, especially during the time. You know what I mean? He was given the ball, and the motherfucker ran with it. He ran with it and evolved it. He took the chances and made that motherfucker his own and made that motherfucker work. And you could take away the big bumps that fucking almost killed his fucking ass and you'd still remember Mankind. He was 2-time World Wrestling Entertainment fucking world champion.
Yeah, and so he goes to Vince when he's first there. He hears the Mason the Mutilator gimmick, which would he knew would be his Mantar. He goes to Vince, and not being an asshole, but understanding what was at stake, challenged Vince on it. I mean, not being an asshole about it, but saying like, I like the idea, but
no, you can't.
But can I add a little something of my own to it? Because, you know, even he said, you can't just say no to Vince McMahon. You have to give him something in return.
That is exactly how you work with Vince McMahon. He's asking you to put your heads together. You can't come at him like a prick. Mick Foley is a humble fucking guy. I don't care where you see Mick Foley. You go up to that guy and he's going to be humble. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. He treats the motherfucking waiter, the waitress, the janitor, the busboy the same way he treats Vince McMahon.
And look at where it got him.
Yeah.
Vince had an open mind when it came to the Mankind gimmick because Foley wanted to go up. Basically in the gimmick he was assigned, but with a different name, calling himself Mankind so that he could talk about the destruction of Mankind, the downfall of Mankind. Yeah. Comes out to that creepy ass music. I remember I was 96. I was 10 years old when he debuted, and I didn't know whether to be fascinated or creeped out because he was not like anything I ever saw. Then they put him with The Undertaker, and The Undertaker at that time was indestructible, and he's getting wins over The Undertaker.
Wait a minute. You forgot to mention. Who was managing Undertaker?
That was Paul Bearer, Percy Pringle.
That's what I'm fucking saying. Another guy. And Undertaker and Percy put their heads together to incept The Undertaker. One of the most consistent drawing fucking personas in the history of pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's how you handle your business. Now, that being said, as you're talking, it occurs to me why they freaked out and flipped out about the match I had with him in '96. It's the way I sold the mandible claw, because now that I think about it, the agents and Vince weren't buying the mandible fucking claw. See what I'm saying? And I fucking sold the piss out of it. You know what I mean? And they loved it. They popped hard. Same thing. This is why to this day I have, I'm going to say juice. Fuck it. I'm going to say juice with World Wrestling Entertainment. Why get them to listen to me? Because a struggling Paul Levesque, Triple H, was coming out with that operatic gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm. The Blue Blood.
Yeah. He incepted or he stole, but I'm going to say incepted because I don't remember seeing it before that. What's his finish?
Pedigree.
Go into the annals and see how I took the pedigree and the way that we got into the pedigree. Those are my ideas. See what I'm saying? That's what I do. How can I get Mick over? He's my fucking friend. Paul Levesque, friends with Terry Taylor, must be a decent guy. I'm going to work my ass off. How can I get him over? And to this day, I'm the first person that took that fucking move right and got him noticed. Edge, same bullshit. Carry him in a match. The way I carry him, nice kid. Tony Garea asked me to do it. Got him over. See what I'm saying? That's how you handle your business.
And that's something that is drilled, and I mean drilled, hammer, screwed into the minds of our roster. You gotta meet halfway.
Otherwise, we're indie crap. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we're indie crap. And indie crap may be great for the friends and family in attendance or the people that you're forced to sell tickets to get fucking booked, but there's no longevity in it. Hence why indie crap doesn't have almost 40,000 subscribers on YouTube at this stage.
Yeah, and I think it was you I heard this from. There's a huge, it's not a thin line, it's a huge fat line that separates putting yourself over and getting yourself over.
Ooh, and staying over.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So it's not, and that's what I absolutely love about this organization. I can't wait till we can start taping with a crowd again so that people can see it live, is that our guys work together because they're trying to get each other over.
We are a professional sports team. That's what we are. Mm-hmm. You know?
Of course, they're trying to make themselves look good because they want to get noticed by WWE. But at the same time, they know they're going to look like crap if they're making the guy they're working with, look like crap or making him do all the work.
Exactly. And we're dependent upon each other. And you're a part of this. We're all dependent upon each other of what the hell comes next. I'm going to say this and then we can end. God damn, for going into this thing without a thought of what we were going to do and then reading that clickbait as the intro, this is some good shit.
I think we spent all the time ranting about the dirt sheets, which honestly could be a podcast
No,
in
it's
itself,
good.
because I got a lot of anger about the damn dirt sheets
I
anyway.
was just going to say that's good too, because anybody that subscribes fucking has the same issue. Falling for that fucking clickbait every time.
Yeah, if they haven't unsubscribed off of us by now, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say they like what we're putting out there.
So, let me say this too. To this point, okay, we haven't sold ourselves as the brand that we are. And at the end of the day, like you just said, a bunch of who the hell are these guys having sometimes, man, Saturday night, some of the best matches in the fucking world. And probably the best matches in the country. Okay, what I mean? Do you know what I mean with these guys?
Mm-hmm. Our undercard can do 20 minutes, and you name me an undercard where the matches are going to go 20 minutes, not where you're going to some high school gym to see 15 matches crammed into 2 hours.
Name me any company that can do compelling 60-minute matches, including Vince and including Japan. Compelling 60-minute matches.
I'll add to a draw.
That's what I'm saying. So, back to what I'm saying is, we're going to get there. Our production isn't bad. If you knew the way we did things and how we got to do it with nothing, it's just amazing that we've gotten to the point where we're at. We've only got one fucking camera. I hate that. But what's happening now is you guys are seeing through the layer of this, seeing through the layer of one camera, seeing through the layer of the production with no commentary, now just starting with commentary, building the way it's building. Imagine what we could do with an influx, and we're still here. Imagine where we're going to end up. And at the end of the day, I don't think it is unattainable to be a viable wrestling product. Not a male soap opera, a wrestling product, because that's what we do.
And like you said, yeah, we have the long-term goal in mind, but we're mindful of each and every step we're taking, and every time we take a step, we start thinking about how we can take that other step. I know I come to you all the time with ideas and say, what do you think of this? Other guys come to you with ideas and say, what do you think about this? This is the great thing about this guy, and if I can kiss his ass for half a second here, he will come to us and ask us for our input.
Yeah, and that's where your best ideas come from. Now, you were just talking, and I know what I know from the inside. Who else does that? What other company, and the head of that company does that? Oh,
could it be the guy we were just talking about? Oh, what's his name? Vic something?
Vince McMahon
Yeah.
of World Wrestling Entertainment. So, that being said, these guys are going to get a break, whether it is with us, or whether it's with Vince, or whether it's Vince and then come back to us.
And honestly, it would be nice to see AEW turn it around to give them another option as well, and become another.
Damage is done.
And it's so sad to see, because as a wrestling fan, you want to see companies succeed. That was for me. That was TNA in the mid 2000s.
I got my heart ripped out.
Before the Wicked Witch of the West came in and ruined everything.
I got my heart ripped out.
If I could steal a saying from Jim Cornette, I dub her the Grinch that stole wrestling, which was Jim's thing about Jim Herd, but it fits for her as well.
No, I love Jim, and I really love his wife. She's such a nice person. She gave me his book, his first book, which is an awesome book, by the way. And he was pissed off that she didn't at least charge me cost. Again, that's Jim Cornette's charm. Jim knows what he knows from working in there, but I know what I know, too, from working in there with Jim, but also being in that fucking office and watching the downfall happen, man.
Oh, God.
Right, let's pimp and get the hell out of here, because white boy got to eat.
And thank you, folks, for hanging in for. I think this is the first time we've gone over an hour. Good times.
Sweet
Good
penis.
times.
Sweet penis.
So we'll try and wrap this up quick, because we know you folks got to do what you got to do to get through your day right now. Remember, hit us up all over social media, all over our streaming platforms. YouTube, if you haven't already subscribed, which is huge right now. A global, I'm going to say it again, global YouTube audience right now, almost 40,000 subscribers, and fresh content multiple times a week, or at least we're trying to. Pivot Share, which again is premierprowrestling.pivotshare.com/home.
I'm positive at this point I can safely say we provide the most current content on Pivot Share, especially for the price.
And routine, now that everything is shut down. Where I think we're the only brand in the area, at least the area, that's still providing weekly content. But PivotShare, premierprowrestling.pivotshare.com/home, or if you don't want to type all that, just go to premierprowrestling.com, click the on-demand link, and you can get to the page from there. And remember, $4.99 per month, it's unlimited streaming. You're not going to get cut off at any time during the month. You can stream as much as you want. If there's a match you really like, you want to watch it 100 times, watch it 100 times. And just for signing up, your first 2 weeks are going to be absolutely free. They're on the house. They're on us to say thank you for putting your faith in our platform and our presence on that platform. And Patreon. Patreon is what we are really trying
I love the model of Patreon, man. Patreon on its own, if you take us out of the equation, unfucking believable concept and where they're going.
Patreon is our way for you guys, not just us to bring you exclusive content, but a way for you guys to be involved. Because
executive producers.
Exactly. We don't see your contributions as you giving us money. It's not us taking a handout from you. It's an investment. It's you putting your faith in us to bring you the most compelling, exclusive content we can. So I'm going to real quick run through the tiers again.
You put your thumbprint on it. Your thumbprint's on it. It's a in-part kind of ownership. It's pretty cool.
And before I go into the tiers, I got to say again, as this is a partnership, and even if you're not on Patreon, if you're listening to this on YouTube, or if you're watching any of our content on YouTube or on PivotShare, leave us comments. Let us know how we're doing. If you want to give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs up. If you have a suggestion, throw out your suggestions. If you have a criticism, throw out your criticisms. We just ask that you're not an asshole about them. Yeah. And that's the bad kind of asshole.
Yeah. Please, no trolly troll. All right, you don't.
And Patreon, I got to go through the tiers real quick. No problem. $1 is going to $1 a month. $1 a month. One Washington is gonna get you every episode of this podcast the week it's recorded and completely ad-free. So that's $1 for 4 or 5, depending on how long the month is, of these podcasts per week. Per month, a week before they go to YouTube, where you're going to have to sit through ads if you want to watch. $3 is going to get you that, and a few exclusive matches per month from our studio tapings. Again, once we start
that aren't available anywhere else.
Once we start rolling again with an audience, we're going to go back to doing one Friday taping a month. You'll be able to get 2 or 3 matches from those Friday tapings on Patreon, and $5, it's going to get you that, but you'll be able to stream that full Friday night taping, or however many matches we decide to do exclusive for Patreon. You'll be able to access every single one of them, all for $5 a month. That's the best package. It's the best bang for your buck.
And not hammered shit. Really compelling content.
Compelling, and we're always trying to evolve new concepts.
Yes.
So that's something to keep an eye out for. So let's go ahead and take this home. Thank you, folks, again so very much for not only listening today, but for your continued support, especially through these difficult times. We really hope you are all taking care of yourselves out there. We hope you're all getting by. Things are really tough right now. We understand. Thank you for hanging on, and thank you for your continued support.
And until we meet again, look out for number 1. Don't step in number 2. A hole is a hole, as long as there's some heat in there. We'll talk to you next week.